Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to set up a Harley Benton BM-75, and I'll just give you a little overview of what it was like when I got it. The switch was bent over. I couldn't really find any other flaws, and I've been trying to get this wax potting out of here. That's almost impossible to get that out. So I tightened the truss rod. I made the neck, gave it like, I don't know, 4/1000ths of an inch relief, like or a little less, pretty straight. And when it was the way it came originally, the nut was cut. It was 16,000. It was 20,000ths at the 6th string, 12th fret. It was 47,000. The action here at the 1st string, and on the 6th string it was 52,000. And I guessed that the frets were 52,000ths tall. I mean, I wrote that down that I guessed. They're like 53, 54, so the frets are nice and big. After adjusting the saddles, the action dropped down from 47 to 38 and 52 to 38. So pretty good action without doing any kind of fret leveling. Yeah, it looks to me like someone did something with this 1st fret. You can't, like the camera, you can't really see it on the camera. See how this fret is really smooth looking? And this one looks like they dressed it but didn't polish it. I did notice playing the very 1st fret, it buzzed a little bit. So I think somebody at the factory didn't know what they were doing, and they took this one down a little bit. Yeah, you can't really see. I don't know, maybe you can, but maybe if I move the light a little bit, get rid of some of this light, maybe you could see it better. I don't know if that helps, but to the naked eye, you can kind of see it. But anyway, I'll get this baby masked up and we'll get her set up. Okay, man, I wish I could do it that fast. All the fretboard is taped, and now I'm going to use my fret rocker, and we're going to look for some high frets. I already knew that one was there. So basically, here's what happens when I do that. Maybe I'll bring the camera in a little closer. Okay, here's how it works. Because I'm going to do this high speed, but I'll explain it. Okay. I know this fret is a bit high. This fret here is a little high. So you see when you go back and forth? See that? And so what I do is I mark the area on the fret, because a lot of times it'll only be like a piece of the fret is high. So I mark, this one is the whole fret, but if it was the half a fret, I would end up, I'd put a mark like this, then I put a bunch of dots next to it. Get this focus. So I put a bunch of dots next to it. And the reason I do that is because instead of taking a file to the whole neck, I don't want to do that. This has got some pretty, like 54,000ths of an inch frets. I don't want to take off any more meat than I need to. So I'll just get my sandpaper. We'll pretend this is a sandpaper. And I usually use 400, and I'll just go back and forth and back and forth. And then I'll take the rocker and I'll check it, and I'll just carefully keep doing that until all 3 frets are level. And it's a lot easier to just take a file over all of them, but I don't want to lose that much meat So that's why I do it that way. So now I'm going to put the camera in a time-lapse mode, and I'm going to run through this really quick, like Superman. Okay, here's our high frets here. Definitely that guy. And most of them are just little bits. Most of them are like the tiniest amount. This is really pretty good. You're thinking, how is this pretty good? Well, you know, here's an example. I always show this. Or is it? I should know it by now. Fender American HSS Special 15. It's got the most high frets. Oh, well, here we had one for 19. An Epiphone Muse. That did have a lot. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, so the Epiphone Muse was the most, and second was the American Stratocaster. There's a classic vibe up here with 13 anyway, but we're not here to talk about them. So I'm going to start dressing these frets. We're going to get this thing playing. I know it's going to play incredible. And that nut, it was almost like I had to yank the E string out of it. It was almost like they heated up the E string and just let it melt into it. It was really weird. Anyway, I'll get to it. So what you're going to see me do now is I'm going to use some 400, and I'll just be going over it, and I'll just keep checking it because I don't want to do it too much. I don't want to create a problem. And then once I have all these high frets leveled, I'll use 400, and I'll go over the frets, then 6, then 8, up to like 3,000. Then I'll polish them, and it'll be wunderbar. Anyway, let's get to it. All right, I'm having a union break. No sugar. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over frets with 600 up to 3,000. And I always like to do the edges too. And I'm not going to bore you with it. We're going to do it really fast. If it was only that easy. All right, you only saw about half of it. My dog called and he needed me to do something for him. All right, now, next, Mother's mag and aluminum polish. You could use any kind of polish. I mean, I went up to 3,000, so it's not even worth doing it by machine. I just do it by hand like 20 times. It comes out beautiful. Because really, 3,000, it's already polished. So let's get this done. I think I'm going to use my Dremel. I want these to be super polished. That is the most I think I ever polished a fret. So I'm going to do I have this really nice soft rounded file. I'm going to see if there's anything I need to worry about. And I could probably do it after a union break. Okay, now I'm gonna put some lemon oil on this board, let it soak, and we'll start stringing it up and seeing if we can make something out of this wildly crappy nut. All right, she's drying pretty fast. I think I figured a way to get the wax potting out of here. Use this. It's hard to get rid of this stuff. There's a lot right here. What a mess. Before I put the strings in, I'm going to get rid of all this excess. I'm going to get rid of some of that. I think I'm going to use 8.5 to 40 slinkies. We've got a 25-inch scale here. So it's a little less than a Strat and a tiny bit more than like a Gibson or Gretsch. The PRS scale is 25 inches also. All right, let's cut this nut and make everything right in the world. All right, we're at 11 thousandths there. And I really want to block this trim. I don't want it going up. Maybe I don't have to block it. I took the middle spring out. Here, let me tighten the springs a bit and see what happens. Well, just taking out that spring, the middle spring, and tightening the two claws a little bit. It just lays down. It looks like it's made to do it. I don't think I have much to do. I'm going to put some lube in the nut. Now when I tune it, it doesn't go ping, 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 ping. It was like weird that like A string, it's just like they jabbed it in. It was really weird. All I got to do is lube the nut, get the pickup height set up the intonation, and I'm good. Eight and a halves. Then I can figure out exactly what action I want. Man, I've got that neck pretty, almost totally straight. You don't need a lot. You don't need a bunch of relief in a neck. All right. Maybe I'll raise the pickups right now a little bit because they're like right down inside the pick guard. We'll just raise them a little bit. Yeah, I am really impressed. Some of these guitars, man, if they just had the frets finished a little better. And a couple, sometimes they just need a couple of things, like the Guild Starfire one, the bridge sucks on it, and the frets need to be dressed really badly. The nut cut and all that. I'm going to raise them up higher, but I just wanted to get them where they're a little more respectable. Let's tune it up a little bit here. Man, that's so tight. That is so tight. Can hardly turn the darn thing. Man, that's tight. What are they trying to do? And it's still tight. And I loosened it quite a bit. And it's still tight. The intonation doesn't sound that far off. Cool. All right, I am going to tweak the action, then I'm going to set the intonation, and then I'm pretty much done. Pretty getting exciting over here. It's turning out really well. Well, the old man is tired. It's almost 20 after 8 at night. I got the guitar done. The specs are the nut is cut to 11,000 like I normally do. The relief, if you hold the first fret and you hold the 24th fret, at the 12th fret, the relief is 5/1000ths of an inch. Now, when I was setting it up, I thought, it doesn't seem like it's that low. I mean, I adjusted the action up and down, the intonation, got it all. But when I put my feeler gauge on it, it's 35/1000ths of an inch on the 6th and the 1st. So the action is awesome on it. A lot of times I find I'll set up a guitar and it doesn't seem that great, and I come back the next day and I'm like, wow, this thing's great. I don't know, there's some phenomena that happens sometimes. But yeah, it's all set up. I just got to put the truss rod cover and the rear plate on it. And yeah, it's a really cool, unique guitar. I'll be doing a full review, and I'm going to do some cool sound reviews. And I don't mean playing Queen songs. Everybody always wants to play Queen songs. I didn't buy this guitar to play Queen songs. I bought it because it was different, and it could do a couple out-of-phase sounds. It wasn't anything like, you know, like, don't get me wrong, I really like Brian May. I heard Queen 2 when it came out, and that was an eternity ago. So anyway, this is done. Plays fantastic. Got those 8.5 to 40s on there. And I'll see you on the review. I appreciate you stopping by. My dog is crying. His mom is in Vegas for a couple of days and he's upset. It's okay, buddy. We'll go to Vegas one day. So you want to hit that like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. It would help me out. I appreciate that so much. And I will see you next time. Take care.